crowded Western Conference, finding the definition of what that path is. Bob, how did a young player come into that spot?
They played rookies last year. Like, even with the Rams team, Brad Beal, they had a veteran team, and rookies found a way to play. So this is an opportunity. All these guys they drafted, there's playing time available. Yeah, Ryan Dunn is one of them. They hit in the first round. Oso Iguodala, second round. It was a similar pattern as far as last year, as far as how they traded up to pick 39.
And Phoenix, again, when talking about, I've said it a couple of times already, but the West is a tough place to play right now.
I'll tell you one thing I've never heard a coach say. I'm not going to play this guy because they play the players that help them win. It doesn't matter. And when you're a GM, yeah, you take a guy high, play, but it doesn't work. It's whoever can play.
Well, the pick is in. Again, this pick is headed to Pick Suns. Let's send it back to Deputy Mark Tatum.
With the 31st pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Rasheer Fleming from St. Joseph's University.
Jersey, just down the turnpike from where his NBA dream is being realized here. Rasheer is oldest, several siblings, played at Camden High School for now Nick's assistant coach Rick Brunson. The 6'8" out of St. Joseph's. He's a self-proclaimed late bloomer. He went through the draft process last year, had 5 workouts. He said he learned a lot, wanted to apply it this season. Describes himself, Jay, as coachable, willing to play multiple positions, takes to win. Not to mention, he did have the second fastest shuttle run at the draft combine.
Yeah, clearly he's athletic and just crazy length. He's got a 7'5" wingspan, really versatile on the defense. You're Fleming, the only player to have over dunks and over 8 made threes on the season. He shot 30 for 3. He hit 62 of them a year. He's versatile, a multi-positional defender that's very disruptive. He's a floor spacer, a really good cutter. And he's one of those players that a lot of people say could be better in the NBA than he was in college. He's very good in college. Had 9 double-doubles. He had a 20-rebound game against Texas. He's got a lot of ability.
And he is standing by. Monica?
Rasheer, congratulations. You took the additional steps to take your time to go back and improve. Now you're here realizing it's going through your mind.
Never done anything like this in my life. Like, this is a crazy experience for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this shit.
Talk basketball, right? Reaction, but let's talk about the basketball, right? You are talented, you are versatile, can defend multiple positions. What are you going to bring to the organization that you're joining, the Phoenix Suns?
First off, just so much effort. Like, regardless if anything goes wrong, if I'm not making shots, anything, which I doubt, you're gonna get a lot of effort out of me. Like, I'm gonna continue to play hard.
Doubting that you were gonna miss shots was very slick. I heard that. Congratulations, Rasheer.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I love the confidence of these kids, man. It's amazing.
I think the confidence you want going into the NBA, and now Boston Celtics that are on the clock. It's pretty astonishing, Brian, the difference that the Boston Celtics were sitting in, the position they were sitting in a year ago versus now. Jason Tatum, for an extended period of time, they just traded away Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and I think there's a lot of questions reports that they're fielding calls, not necessarily taking them, but fielding calls on Derek.
Yeah, I think they're going to stick with their core guys, but they knew that 2025 was going to be a time where they were going to have to probably cut off some payroll. They knew that for 3 years when they did those contracts with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But it's been a little bit tougher than they experienced because now they can't.
I'm interested to see who the Raptors are going to take.
Brian, thank you.
I really like their first pick in the first round. It was really good pick.
Malika, so this pick, number 32, is actually being traded to the Orlando Magic. So the Orlando Magic are sending numbers 46 and 57 in tonight's draft, as well as 2 other second-round picks in 2026 and 2027. And so tonight's pick here at 32 is Orlando.
All right, so
that's a big price. That's a big price they just paid, which makes me wonder if there wasn't. I don't know, but it makes me wonder if there wasn't some competition between teams.
Do you think any team in the second round will actually make their own pick?
Yeah, I wouldn't be
We're
surprised.
gonna run out of ink on these pens, Bob.
These picks fly around a little bit. It says Boston on the hat, at least for now, so I want to stick with Boston for just a moment. We do know that this pick is going to Orlando, who kind of was the catalyst to start the offseason in a lot of ways with that Desmond Bain trade. But Boston, Bob, it just goes to show you, you talk about, even right now, we're talking with Oklahoma City about how many championships can they win after they win one. You never know how small that window is.
Well, you don't, because what we do is whoever wins the championship, we think they're going to win it again, and again, and again. We know when Milwaukee won it, they're going to win 3 more. When Denver won it,
Oklahoma
they're
City,
going to
baby,
dynasty.
they're gonna win.
When Boston won it, nobody's going to be Boston. Now we're saying about Oklahoma City. Now, Oklahoma City is the youngest
Come
team
on,
to do it for
Raptors.
sure. But what you're seeing with Boston
We
is
wanna
probably
get
what
there
we're going to
again.
see more and more in the future with these teams that win it. You load up, you get the role players, you have high-priced stars. But then you take a shot for 1 or 2 years, it doesn't work, you got to unwind some of that. You just can't keep players like you used to because of the second apron. It used to just be money, not that money doesn't matter. It used to be the owners just paying extra money. Now you can't make trades and go that second apron. It really hinders your ability to do things.
This pick is actually heading to Orlando. Mark Tatum is at the podium.
With the 32nd pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Noah Penda from Bondy, France, and Francis Lemon.
From France.
And who was born in France and comes to the NBA for France's top league, joined several French players already selected in the 2025 draft here. Both of his parents were professional basketball players, and Noah says he tries to be a Swiss Army knife for his teams. Jonathan, you have noted his versatility. You think that he could really be a sleeper in this draft as he makes his way to the podium here, thanking his friends and family for his moment with
Well, I
Deputy
did not have
Commissioner
this
Mark
guy
Tatum.
going that high.
First of all, the Orlando Magic are keeping this pick, and Noah Penda will be on the roster next year. A bunch of teams were hoping to stash Noah Penda for a year, but he had no interest in that. He's coming to the NBA. Now, Noah Penda is the most instinctual off-ball defender in this draft class. He has a great feel for the game. He's an outstanding passer. He has big-time versatility defensively. He makes plays all over the floor with his 7-foot wingspan and strong anticipation skills. He had a very productive season as a player with Lamont and Pro A. They're one of the best teams in that league. He's not the most explosive guy. He's not the most consistent outside shooter. But think of him as somewhat of a Kenrich Williams type Swiss Army knife.
I think the Raptors are going to take Johnny Broom.
I think he's just going to be a very intriguing pick for them.
And he's one of, as we mentioned, several picks here, Jay, that have come from France, that are international picks. It's marking a little bit of a different trend that we're seeing right now in the NBA.
Yeah, well, the United States has most of the good players, the best players in the world. They're not going to have all of them. And France has done a great job of developing young players. And geez, the crazy length that some of these guys have. And length matters in the NBA.
And now Noah Penda is with our Monica.
Noah
Well,
Penda.
Noah, congratulations. We
First
just came
round
up with a terrific
prospect.
graphic addressing the
Falls in the
legacy
second
and the
round.
tradition that's developing in terms of French players. You join that group of talented young men. How are you feeling?
Really excited. I was there last night for the first round. I see all of my former teammates, former friends getting called to get on the
How
big
is
stage.
France
So
turning
that's just
on talent?
I'm happy for them.
What's
Happy for me.
going
I'm
on
ready
at
to
the
get to work.
grassroots level?
Now, personally, in terms of getting to work, you're joining an Orlando Magic
Right.
team who was known for their tenacious defense, and that is one thing that has been praised about your game. What do you think about the fit where you're headed?
Honestly, I think I can fit anywhere. I'm glad to be part of the Orlando Magics. Thanks for them for
Orlando
trusting me,
Magics.
and I'm just really excited to get there.
Outstanding. Noah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Malika, the Magic are having a very aggressive couple of weeks here. They go hard for Desmond Bain. Last night, they trade up from 16 to 11 to get Cedric Howard. This, they use 4 second-round picks, and they still have, over the next 7 years, 9 seconds and 4 firsts. He may not be done.
And the Magic selected Jace Richardson as well at number 25. And look, they ranked second in defense last year, Jay, and adding another hard-nosed defender here.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is getting Desmond Bain. That helps their shooting because they need to score. Jace Richardson can shoot it as well. He may be small, but offensively he's very gifted.
In the Eastern Conference right now, again, I think a lot of folks thought that the Indiana Pacers would be, no pun intended, setting the pace for the rest of this conference. And I think Orlando is a team, the Atlanta Hawks, as you mentioned earlier, are the New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers are looking around and saying, why not?
Well, I've never seen a conference get decimated by injuries like the Eastern Conference has. I mean, we've never seen star players go down like this, like we have with Tatum and Lillard, and then sadly Halliburton. I mean, and the truth is, it's a cutthroat business. This is a ruthless space that you work in. It's competitive and it's about winning. And these teams in the Eastern Conference, Malika, they're saying, well, this is an opening. They're saying, hey, we got to look at it realistically. And that East has probably never been more open due to these injuries.
And we have an Eastern Conference team on the clock right now, the Charlotte Hornets. They just finished up their first year under head coach Charles Lee here, Brian. When you look at Charlotte, obviously LaMelo is one of their cornerstones, Brandon Miller as well. How do you see them sort of climbing out of the bottom of the Eastern Conference historically and making a bit more of a push?
They just had a lot of difficulty getting traction with their team because they've changed over coaches. LaMelo has had injury issues. Last year, Brandon Miller was off to a terrific start to the season, has injury issues. They changed their systems. They changed ownership. They just haven't been able to get any momentum. This would be a year what would be helpful, especially with the teams in the East going to
Charlotte's up.
Well, availability matters. You have to have your best player on the court, and that's LaMelo Ball. But they did address the need last night with the Continental draft pick. They were last in effective field goal percentage. Nipple 48% from three, corner threes. That is a big addition for them.
To your point about injuries, 3 and 32 when LaMelo Ball didn't play this season. Brandon Miller played 27 games because of a wrist injury as well, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is how you do it, though. This is how you build up through the draft. Brandon Miller was a great pick. Ball was a great pick. And Canelo, they hope he's a great pick. And you got to hope that all these guys, Oklahoma City's a good example. Now, they did get Shea in a big trade.
But Shea wasn't the headline of that trade at the time. It was the picks that were the headline. And here's SGA. No one saw necessarily him becoming an MVP of the league, which is such a cool story.
No, I mean, he was a good young player that a lot of people liked. You didn't know he'd be this. But that's the point about the draft. If everybody knew he would be the number 1 pick, Kobe Bryant was the 13th pick. Steph Curry was the 7th pick.
Kevin Durant.
Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Pierce, we learned the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we talked about guys that were second-round picks, that are MVP. Nikola Jokic going to the second round? It still bothers me. Did you say it was drafted during a commercial?
He was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. He had an all-time quote about that I'll share later, but it's time to get it back to Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum with the pick.
With the 33rd pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Sion James from Duke University.
Sion James.
Sion James, the senior guard here out of Duke, Jay.
Well, Sion James started his career at Tulane, where he was considered a scorer. But when he was transferred to Duke, he became a point guard, really physical, an excellent athlete, and an outstanding defender. He's not a guy that's going to go out and get you 3-4 steals in a game, but he really limits his assignment. He keeps the ball away from him, stays in front. He's a good passer, very low error rate, does not turn it over, and a very good cutter. But his on-ball defense and the fact that he does so many things well and very steady, the key will be improving his shooting. He can make shots, but he needs to be a more aggressive shooter and take advantage of opportunities.
He joins 3 of his fellow Duke brothers who are already drafted here in the 2025 NBA draft. The Charlotte Hornets on the clock once again, so we're going to take a quick break. More from Barclays Center coming up right after this.
Your financial journey starts here. Whatever life you choose, gold is easy to invest in online. It can help you grow what you have and protect it. Go, choose your own path.
Welcome to Kelowna, home of the 2026 Memorial Cup. In fact, we're home to a lot of things we're proud of. That's the game.
Beautiful landscapes, incredible food.
Fun for the whole family. Epic experiences. It's all here.
For a destination like nowhere. Join us in Kelowna for the 2026 Memorial Cup. Because let's face it, all here.
Don't let lunch be a letdown. Go get that steal. It's Italian BMT or sweet onion chicken teriyaki. Fresh baked bread for just $5.99. Subway sits fresh like that.
Try the Barber Club Beard and Skin Oil, infused with cedarwood oil. It grooms the beard and relieves dry skin, nourishes and softens your beard. Iconic. That's why we're one in the world. Just join the Barber Club. Co-crafted with Barbers by L'Oreal Men Expert. Yeah, we're worth it.
Introducing the Hyundai Ioniq 9. 3-row SUV. Comfortable, class-leading interior space, seating for up to 7 passengers. The 539 kilometers of all-electric range. The Hyundai Ioniq 9 won't take you to space. It brings space to you.
It's your gut instinct. Always one step ahead. I know what's up and who's up. The next time the game's on and it feels game-changing, bet your way with Betway.
Odds of a skiing injury, 1 in 334. Odds of getting shingles, 1 in 3. We all help protect ourselves, even when the odds are low. What about when they're not? Ask your healthcare professional about Shingrix.
There's nothing like summer in New York City. New and unexpected always awaits. And when the plot twists, we can choose to embrace a new chapter.
Really sorry.
To accept it.
I'm gonna go now.
Draft 2025 is presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The second night of the NBA draft brings out the stars. Spike Lee in the house, as always, representing for New York. I like his outfit at Cannes as well. So is it Cannes, the film festival? Welcome back to the second round of the 2025 NBA draft. Several young men are here with us at Barclays, waiting, hoping to hear their name called here tonight. The Charlotte Hornets remain on the clock. The pick will be in here momentarily, imminently. But we were talking about, you asked about a really interesting question in the break. Jay, can you share?
Well, when we were talking about all the recent injuries in the Eastern Conference, my thought was, with these injuries, would that make you more aggressive in the short window to make moves? Because you've got a championship opportunity with so many star players injured in the East.
Yeah. I think I answered. I would do something. I don't think I would do anything reckless. I would do something in the short term, and that might mean, and Bobby, you know this, that might mean I wasn't planning on using my taxpayer mid-level exception to get a $5, $6, $7 million player, but now I am.
Mm-hmm.
That may mean I'm going to go out and make a trade for a rotation guy and give up some draft capital because this is the window. But I'm not going to do it for a guy that has 4 years left, but I might do it for a guy that has 1 year left. Guys like Cam Johnson's the guy where you say, hey, this guy, this year, I need him for this year because I have a window in the East.
Yeah, it's like that. When you look at it in 2-year windows, right? We always talk about 4 or 5. How can they help you now, and how can they help you next year? And the one thing you don't want to do is go all in, and then it blows up in your face.
The pick is it?
With the 34th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton University.
Ryan was a defensive force at Creighton. However, it's a former NBA champion and MVP that Ryan replicates at times on the offensive end here as well.
Nothing off the board here.
Got way more comfortable shooting the ball this past year. My protection has been there a while. My ability to guard on the perimeter has taken a lot of steps forward.
Kalkbrenner's 7'4" reach came up with it.
My favorite player growing up was Dirk, and I couldn't be any more different than him. So, I mean, that fadeaway jumper in the post is just, iconic. He was so good at that. And, I think I hit that shot twice over 5 years in my college career. Just trying to do what we do in our system and do it to the best of my ability to help us win.
Jonathan, you described him as ready to go plug and play with any team.
Absolutely, Malika. 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, 23 years old. 7'6" wingspan, 9'4" standing reach. He's ready to help the Charlotte Hornets from day one. They actually have a major void here after trading Mark Williams yesterday to the Phoenix Suns. Kalkbrenner never turns the ball over. He doesn't make mistakes. He's a very good screener, and he's added the stretch element to his game this past season. I really like this pick for the Charlotte Hornets.
Jonathan, thank you very much. By the way, those 4 Big East Defensive Player of the Year awards, the only other player to do that was Patrick Ewing at Georgetown. You can take a look here at the Hornets draft picks over the last 2 days. And now it's the Philadelphia 76ers that are on the clock. Philadelphia, another team, played with injuries last year. Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. They only played 15 games together. Joel Embiid, who was shut down in February after playing 19 games, his fewest in a season since missing the entire 2015 and 2016 season, rather. Jay, you said it best yesterday. The health of Joel is the core question for this team.
Joel sucks.
If Kawhi and what the Clippers did this year could maybe be a model for the 76ers moving forward.
As far as sitting Embiid out a little bit, not playing as much.
Pulling out a little bit of bubble wrap, and then down the stretch, we saw Kawhi be incredibly effective when his team needed it the most.
Whatever keeps him healthy and keeps him on the floor for the longest period of time. I mean, the MVP of the Sixers could be the medical staff because he's got to play. If he doesn't play, that limits their ability to challenge.
We talk about the East having some injuries and some teams taking a step back. The team that can take a huge step forward in that situation is Philly. Daryl Morey, their team president, talked last night about how after drafting BJ Edgecombe, he felt like they had one of the best backcourts in the league. And I kind of agree. When you look at Jared McClain, who was maybe on the way to being a Rookie of the Year candidate last year before he got hurt, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George. If they're healthy, that team is very
Paul
vulnerable.
George, big loser.
The big if is what's telling.
Yeah, that's a big if.
Well, it's a huge
Joel
if because look at the guys.
big loser.
Our whole conversation is about health, right? We can talk about health.
A lot of like doom and gloom health.
Well,
We need to do a little like this.
Why are we talking about it? Because it's probably the most important thing to discuss. But assuming health, yeah, they got a great shot. I mean, especially because talked about it 5 minutes ago. The East is open. Now the West, that is not open. The West is healthy and it's very good.
Well, they've gotten younger, certainly with the BJ Edgecombe draft last night, and Quentin Grimes during the trade deadline. Certainly, yeah, and that's going to be a priority for them when we get into the offseason. He's going to be a restricted free agent. The downside, it might cost you Gershon Yabusele, who's an unrestricted free agent. And there's going to be a priority as how you go about putting together some front court depth, because you're going to need an insurance policy for Joel Embiid.
I was in Philadelphia last year during media day, just ahead of their training camp beginning, and I sat down with Joel Embiid and Paul George, and both of them told me that this was a team. The intention of the team was they expected Joel Embiid to miss games. I think Joel has accepted that he's certainly not an 82-game player. He's not even a 65-game player at this point. He just wants to be here for when it matters the most. But because of the injuries to Paul George, even Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, of course, they weren't even able to get there. This team was supposed to be built, Jay, to be able to withstand a long stretch without Joel Embiid. They still can, but it's just like you got to just knock on wood for some help.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't even available at any point in the season for what he played 21 games. I mean, that's just not enough.
Yeah, and I think we saw the two teams in the finals with the depth they had, right? Oklahoma City played a ton of guys, as did Indiana Pacers. But I think the lesson in all that, you were there at training camp. This was a team that was considered to be a contender, and then they got the third pick in the draft. You just never know what's going to happen.
And that's why the offseason is the honeymoon period, right? We all love our roster, and then we get to training camp, we're like, uh-oh.
The most highly touted offseason, I think, for any team last year, Brian.
For sure. And look, they knew that there was going to be some issues 2 or 3 years in.
Come on,
because some of the players were age, but they really thought they had a window this year or the year after.
Yeah.
This window only has been accentuated by the injuries elsewhere. Wouldn't surprise me if they draft a player here that they hope they can help them right away.
I will say Daryl Morey said after his availability yesterday that Joel Embiid, he's expected to be ready to go here for training camp. So you're speaking of players that can make an impact immediately. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I want to see the stars play, right? This is, we want to see these guys play, especially in a diminished now where you know some of them are going to be out. But Joel Embiid's a fantastic player. I mean, this guy's an MVP of the league. He's tremendous. When he's healthy, I mean, he's one of the best players in the NBA. And so we talk about health. We want all these. This is why we love watching basketball, for guys like that.
And now the pick is in. I was going to go to Jay on listening to some of those players that could make a fit, but let's see who's headed to the Philadelphia 76ers.
With the 35th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Janai Brew from Auburn University.
That's who I wanted the Raptors to take. Come on. Come on, Philadelphia.
With his parents, Julie and John, who've really been impactful in his career. A fun fact that he loves to share, that he knows sign language. The fifth-year forward out of Auburn played 2 seasons at Oregon State before transferring to the last 3, and he started playing basketball when he was just 9 years old at the YMCA. When he was younger, he modeled his game a little bit after James Harden because Harden's a lefty. He's a player who he sees that can get the job done every night. He was the unanimous AP first-team All-American selection and really has a good feel for the game, Jay.
Yeah, he's a lefty, an undersized 5-man, but he's got a 7-foot wingspan. And you mentioned, Malika, that he started his career at Morehead State, where he was Player of the Year in his league. When he transferred and went to Auburn, Bruce Pearl said, we'll see if these numbers translate to the SEC. And it did. He was dominant in the Southeastern Conference. In fact, he was the Player of the Year, led Auburn to the Final Four this last season. Shoots 66% at the rim, excellent on post-ups, and he's fantastic on the offensive glass. Just under 4 offensive rebounds a game. He may not be an above-the-rim big guy, but he carves out space and he gets things done. Really productive player that has been overlooked before and has come through.
And now he brings that chip on his shoulder into the NBA. He's standing by with his parents, and I want to come in.
So the uniqueness of this opportunity, Janai, is that you just heard what Jay Willis had to say about you. What did you think of that?
I think what he said was right. I'm a winner. I get things done offensively and defensively, so the chicks got to go.
We've got the Jab 5 represented, which is your family, because you all share those wonderful initials, Mom, Julie, and Dad, John. When you see your son accomplish his dream, what have you seen that has allowed him to get here?
Janai,
when your son accomplishes this dream, what have you seen that allowed him to get here?
His hard work and his dedication to the sport that he loves, to something his passion has always been. So his dream come true.
Congratulations to the whole family, you guys. Janai, best of luck on your next step.
Thank you.
Monica, thank you so very much. This next pick, the 36th pick, we have some news about, so I want to bring back in our senior insider, Sean Sharanga.
Malika, we do have news, if I can fix my mic. The Lakers are acquiring the number 36 pick in this NBA draft, so they have moved up. This pick is not
Lakers have moved
Brooklyn's,
up.
It's not anyone else's, it's the Lakers pick. And it's going to be for the 45 pick, and the player that they're targeting right now is Adu Thoreau out of Arkansas. At 36 here for the Lakers.
All right, so this pick has been on the move a couple of times, from Brooklyn to the Wolves and now to the Los Angeles Lakers here, Bobby Marks.
Yeah, they are certainly going to need some wing help here. We're going to see what happens as far as what happens with Dorian Finney-Smith, who's got a player option. The big priority, of course, when we get into the offseason is the center position. How they go about addressing the center position. Rob Pelinka, their general manager, was out front, said we need to fix that. They tried to do it at the deadline with Mark Williams. That trade was rescinded. Priority for center, but they'll get a really good wing right here.
Well, the pick is in, so let's send it back to the podium and Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum here. Again, this pick is headed to the Los Angeles Lakers.
With the 36th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Adu Thoreau from the University of Arkansas.
He's on the phone with the Lakers right now.
Love this, that we get to see the
He's like, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Adu led Arkansas in points and rebounds and steals, and this is a family of hoopers. His father played college ball under John Calipari for 4 seasons at Memphis before a series of health issues and injuries caused his playing career to be cut short. But his mom also played at Oklahoma City University and was drafted by the Washington Mystics in the W. So a lot of experience here. So this is the moment for the entire family. His sister, the first female player to dunk in Pennsylvania, a whole family affair. He said he's modeled his game after Derrick Rose when he was a kid. He played his freshman and sophomore seasons for Kentucky before going to Arkansas. And our Jonathan Gaboni calls him maybe the best dunker in this class alongside the number 3 pick, BJ Edgecombe.
Well, the one thing about Adu Thera is he plays hard, man. He's got a 7-foot wingspan. He's long. He's athletic. He's very physical. He's gotten stronger. He started his career in Kentucky, transferred to Arkansas when John Calipari took the Razorback job. But he's an excellent driver. He cuts hard, but he's got a motor. Really physical defender. He was the only Southeastern Conference player to average over 15 points, just under 6 rebounds, and over 1.5 steals. A little bit of a limited shooter, only 29% on jump shots, but in transition, defensively on the glass, he's a very capable player.
Alika, the Lakers really wanted this guy. They woke up today with the 55th pick. First, they make the deal with the Bulls to get the 45. Now a second deal to get up to this spot.
Well, his favorite memory in basketball was winning a state championship with his high school. I have a feeling that this may be up there, and now he's standing by with his father.
Not just his father, Malika, but also his coach, right? At one point in his career. But Adu, how are you feeling? A dream realized.
Doing good, blessed, happy, just thankful, just, grateful.
Coach or dad, mommy, we know that being a parent and a coach sometimes can be challenging, but to get your son to this moment, as a dad, how proud are you of him?
I'm super proud of him. He worked all his life for this moment, and we are
Two more
proud of
picks to
him.
the Raptors. Let's
Congratulations
go.
to you both. Congrats, Adu.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Let's go, Raptors.
I so enjoyed hearing from the families in this moment alongside their sons, all the work to get to this moment, the NBA draft. For Marcos, we'll be right back.
With Dulux is buy one, get one free. Skip the stress and do it for less. Buy one, get one free ends July 7th. Find your local paint store at dulux.ca.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, sweetie. I was just thinking about you.
Well, Brian Reyes.
I remember that boy. You were real sweet on him.
No one says that anymore.
Well, what would you say?
Mom, low-key upset.
Like he's a hunk? Like you're hungry?
More like thirsty.
Sounds like he's the bee's knees.
Love these calls.
Tell me, Grandma.
Put us in a box. Go ahead. Nothing sitting together expectations. The next bit. MC Train AT4. When we choose to challenge, we challenge. We are professional.
Dry eyes ruining the moment? Get fast relief with HydroSense eye drops. Made with a naturally sourced lubricant that works to attract and retain moisture. HydroSense eye drops.
Are there any Raptors fans in the chat?
Became the director of
Anybody
his life.
streaming the Raptors
And
fan in here?
An
Or are we
extraordinary
guys? Or are we just all spread out as
start. Flashing before your eyes at Exotica.com.
Lunch or dinner differently at Tim's for their new Supreme Stack. On high with sliced seasoned steak and double smoked bacon. It's a sandwich that's built to satisfy. Tim's differently with the new Supreme Stack.
With BetMGM Casino, you can bring the magic of Vegas home. Download BetMGM Casino and play. BetMGM, where we know how to do you right. If stuff like this just isn't working for you, then it might be time to consider discussing additional weight loss treatment plans from Phoenix.ta. I'm so hot. So hot.
Canada, there's no mountain we can't climb, no challenge we can't conquer. We won't let any roadblock. Detour simply means we'll find a new way to get where we're going. When faced with a U-turn, we'll do whatever it takes to make it to the finish line. We are a country built on tradition, a tradition of perseverance and strength, and a tradition of coming together every summer for a new season of the Amazing Race Canada on CTV and Crave.
NBA action, it does not stop. Neither do we will be there. See you at the next generation of NBA stars at NBA 2K26 Summer League. Tickets are going fast. Get yours now at NBA events. nba.com. You can catch the flag in action at the NBA 2K26 Summer League. It tips off on Thursday, July 10th. Flag and the Mavericks will face off against Bronny James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Also a 2-0 at 8 Eastern on ESPN. And then the number 2 pick, Dylan Harper, and the Spurs face the 76ers and BJH. While we were in the break, the Detroit Pistons selected Chaz Lanier today.
From Tennessee, and Detroit is getting an excellent shooter. He made the most threes in Tennessee history in a single season with 123. 98 of those were catch and shoot, but he can shoot it on the move. He's an excellent cutter, moves without the ball, and gets it off quickly. He's long-armed, 6'9" wingspan, and he's athletic at the fourth fastest lane agility time at the combine and the 5th highest max vertical leap. But I call him a movement shooter with a good pull-up game. He was SEC Newcomer of the Year, but making the most threes in Tennessee history. I mean, Tennessee had Chris Lofton and Dalton Connect last year. Chaz Lanier can shoot it. Started his career at North Florida and played last year for the Volunteers and had an excellent year.
He also won the Jerry West Award as the top men's collegiate shooting guard as well here. It's the San Antonio Spurs now that are on the clock. However, I always have to double check, but this pick is going to the Pacers for a second-round pick. They fly around a whole lot. Picks are also made in the break. I have a story about picks being made in the break regarding Nikola Jokic, but first, this pick is in. Again, this one is headed to the Indiana Pacers. Let's send it back to the podium and Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum.
With the 38th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Cam Jones from Marquette University.
Come on, Raptors. Come on,
Carried a
Raptors.
chip on his shoulder after being overlooked in high school, and that drive has carried him all the way to the NBA. After spending 4 years at Marquette, Cam Jones ranks second in program history in points, racking up over 2,000 with the Golden Eagles. He has a very close relationship with head coach Shaka Smart that you've noted, Bobby. Originally from Memphis, Tennessee, this combo guard, he averaged just over 19 points a game, 48% shooting from the field, and now he is headed
What
for
is
his
this guy
moment
wearing,
here on
bro?
the day.
It's your
Well, Cam
draft.
Jones is a winner, and he did a great job at Marquette as a shooting guard when Tyler Kolek was running the point. Then when Kolek was drafted by the Knicks, Cam Jones moves over to the point, and the lefty, people were asking, is he going to be able to run the point effectively? And he really did. I mean, he accounted for 34.5 points in both scoring and assists for Marquette this last year. He's a career 38% three-point shooter. Didn't shoot it quite as well as a senior, but he's got a good touch, really good footwork, and very good at creating space for himself. Body balance, he's always in attack mode, does a really good job of moving without the ball, and really showed himself to be an excellent passer and distributor this past year when he had to take over the point.
And now Cam is with Monica.
Cam, there's been so much energy since your name was called. You came off the stage and you gave us 2 I'm ready claps. What are you feeling?
Man, I'm just ready to get to nap time, get to work.
You obviously are a guy that's been loyal to your time at Marquette, staying there under head coach Shaka Smart. What do you think you've learned over 4 years in one organization with that head coach?
Man, it takes what it takes. I'm excited to get to know those guys out there, man, build those relationships, build those friendships, and, we're going there next.
All right, another interesting thing about you, boxing is a part of your background. How do you think those skills in that sport translate to what you're headed to do as a pro?
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Coach Angel, man. Did a lot of training with him over the years. I really think boxing, takes on that killer instinct, that killer mindset, that toughness you need. And, I've been in there a lot, man. It's definitely been a help to my career.
Who do you want to shout out tonight, Cam?
That's interesting.
We're going to go over my whole table over there. We got my dad, my mama, Coach Smart, my agent Kevin, and my little cousin Dylan. He more talented than me, man. He plays he's very good at a lot of sports. So I told him, man, just keep grinding, and you never know what can happen.
Well, we gotta watch out for Dylan.
I was gonna say. Dylan might need to join the draft broadcast next. That looks like a star in the making here. Monica, thank you so very much. The Toronto Raptors are now on the clock.
Let's go,
In the second round, picks
Raptors.
fly around very quickly, and sometimes picks are made in the break as well. One of those picks that was made in a break was Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic was drafted when a Taco Bell commercial was running. And after he won Finals MVP, after the Denver Nuggets won a championship, I sat down with the winner of the Finals. And I sat across from him and I said, how do you square that now? And he told me, they bet against the fat boy. Never bet against the fat boy. I showed them. And I said, well, heck, that is one quote right now. So anyone who is drafted again in the second round, in a commercial break, while we're talking about something else, these are the moments that become bulletin board material a little bit later. The Toronto Raptors, they're on the clock now. And Toronto, while they struggled initially, they went 22-21 in their last 43 games of the season. They showed some flashes, again, of what this team can be. There's been some parts that have been moving around. So.
Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, they're trying to find a way through. They made some trades. Obviously, Brandon Ingram paid him as well. Scotty Barnes, one of the best young players in the league. And you're looking for players here. Like I said, I mean, now we're getting into the meat of the second round a little bit. This is where it gets harder. And I want to hear from Bobby, because what you said before the show was, what are the contracts being offered? It's changing. It's changing. We can get into it later if we don't have time.
I mean, with the two ways and the second round pick exception here, sometimes you don't have the roster spot when you're picking in the second round, and you pick a player on a two-way contract. It's a non-rostered spot where you can only play up to 50 games. Doesn't count against the salary cap, and I think we're going to see a little bit of a rash of those during the next 15 picks here.
Brian, how can Toronto continue to build on that momentum? Because we did see it in that second half of the season.
Yeah, well, they kind of tried to tank, but their schedule was such that it made it hard. And then after they won some more games than they were expecting, then they got bad luck on lottery night. But they have been trying in this offseason to upgrade their roster. They shot that number 9 pick somewhat aggressively over the last couple of weeks. Weren't able to find the deal, but they did get an injury injection of Brandon Ingram, who they traded for and extended, but never played much.
And defense became their calling card half the season as well. All right, the pick is in. Let's send it back to the podium.
With the 39th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Elijah Martin from the University of Florida.
Elijah's favorite saying is
Elijah Martin is shooting guard.
find an excuse. And he has found his way into the NBA. He played 5 seasons in college, the first 4 with Florida Atlantic, and then this past season with Florida, where he won a national championship. He averaged a career high, just over 14 points a game. He also made the Final Four with Florida Atlantic back in 22-23, Jen.
Football player, and the first thing, he's strong, physical, and tough. Like, he's really tough. And I thought he changed Florida in a lot of ways with his toughness, especially defensively, because he's an outstanding defender, really tough on the ball. He's a low center of gravity, and it's really tough to get by him. He fights through screens, and then he also attacks in transition. A good pull-up shooter. He may be a little bit undersized for a guard, but he's got a 6'7" wingspan. But that toughness, the fact that he gets steals, and he's always in attack mode, never takes a back seat. Malik, your point about Final Four experience when he was at Florida Atlantic, it's no accident that he was a Final Four player at Florida Atlantic for the Owls, and they win the national championship in Florida.
Hey, he's a winner. The Raptors, they drafted Colin Murray-Boyles with the 9th overall pick last night. So we got 2 SEC guys headed up to the Raptors, rather. And now Elijah is with our Monica McNutt.
Elijah, you said the nerves. Yeah. Tell me about them.
Just a bunch of emotions right now, just excited, nervous, but just ready to get to the next level, and show what I can do.
Not many of your draft classmates, outside of your literal teammates at Florida, can say they're coming off of a national championship. Having had such a tremendous season, what did you learn that's going to help you in your rookie season?
How important team chemistry is. I feel like that translates at next level, and we do a good job of that.
We got to talk a little bit about this chain. Talk to me about the chain.
Just something that me and my jeweler put together. Been working on this piece for a while now, but I do want to shout my hometown, Pike County. They're watching right now, so I appreciate y'all for all the support.
Love that. Congratulations, Elijah.
Thank you.
Moment is often so much bigger than what we see in the room. It's the culmination of so many cities and so many young men, the people that have shaped them. Coming up next here on the NBA Draft, we'll be joined by the number 3 pick, VJ Edgecombe. He's had a heck of a 24 hours. Jay, I think you could rock that chain.
I do. I don't think.